Do you feel your legs getting heavier every single morning? Do you find yourself needing both hands to push hard just to stand up from your chair? Are those terrifying nighttime leg cramps stealing your sleep every night? Here's the harsh truth. That weakening feeling isn't just aging. It's insidious muscle destruction called sarcopenia, and the silent culprit is the mistake you're making before 8 a.m. every single day. Let me paint you a picture of what's really happening inside your body right now. While you sleep peacefully through the night, your leg muscles, those powerful pillars that have carried you through decades of life, are quietly being cannibalized. Your body, starved for nutrients after 7 to 9 hours of fasting, begins breaking down your own muscle tissue for energy. And guess which muscles get attacked first? Your leg muscles, the very foundation of your independence. This isn't some distant future problem. This is happening to you right now, this very moment. Every morning you wake up and make these critical mistakes. You're accelerating this muscle loss by up to 3 to 5% per year after age 60. That might sound small, but here's what that really means. In just 5 years, you could lose 15 to 25% of your leg strength. That's the difference between walking confidently to your mailbox and needing a cane. That's the difference between playing with your grandchildren and watching from a wheelchair. Today, I'm going to expose the 3 morning mistakes that are silently destroying your legs and reveal one simple food that can help you reclaim 10 years of leg strength. But first, if this video resonates with you, comment the number 1 and subscribe to this channel immediately so you don't miss the next critical wake-up call. Your legs will thank you. Warning number 1, skipping breakfast or only drinking black coffee. Everyone thinks black coffee is the fastest way to jumpstart energy. It's become almost a badge of honor in our society. I'm so busy, I just grab my coffee and go. Well, we've been conditioned to believe that skipping breakfast helps us lose weight, saves time, and keeps us energized. The coffee industry has built an empire on this belief. After 7 to 9 hours of sleep, your body exists in a prolonged fasted state. Your glycogen stores, the energy reserves in your muscles are depleted. Your blood sugar is at its lowest point of the day. Your body is desperately searching for fuel to power through the morning ahead. When you only drink black coffee without any food, you're not just skipping a meal, you're triggering a catastrophic biological response. Your body shifts into what scientists call a catabolic state. This is a survival mechanism hardwired into our DNA from our prehistoric ancestors who faced genuine starvation. In this catabolic state, your body begins to break down its own tissue for energy. And here's the cruel irony, the body doesn't break down fat first, it breaks down muscle. Wow! Because muscle tissue is metabolically expensive to maintain. When your body thinks it's starving, it prioritizes survival over strength. It's like your body is eating itself from the inside out, but it gets worse. The muscles that get cannibalized first aren't your arm muscles or your chest muscles. They're your leg muscles, specifically your quadriceps, hamstrings, and calf muscles. These large muscle groups contain significant protein stores that your body raids for amino acids to convert into glucose. The coffee you're drinking, it's actually accelerating this process. Caffeine increases cortisol, your stress hormone, which further amplifies muscle breakdown. It's like pouring gasoline on a fire. You feel alert and energized, but that energy is literally coming from your own leg muscles being dissolved. Let me explain the biochemistry in simple terms. When you're in a catabolic state, your body releases enzymes called proteases. These enzymes are like tiny scissors that cut up muscle protein into amino acids. These amino acids then travel to your liver where they're converted into glucose through a process called gluconeogenesis, literally making new sugar. Every morning you skip breakfast and just drink coffee, you're losing approximately 5 to 7 grams of muscle protein. That might not sound like much, but over a month, that's 150 to 210 grams. Over a year, nearly 2.5 kilograms of pure muscle mass from your legs. This is why you feel your legs heavy and leaden when you wake up. This is why you wobble or struggle to get out of your chair. This is why you need to grab the armrest with both hands and heave yourself upward. Your leg muscles, those powerful pistons that once lifted you effortlessly, are literally wasting away. The medical term is sarcopenia, but I call it what it really is, the silent culprit that's quietly pushing you closer to a wheelchair. You're not just losing muscle mass, you're losing your independence. One skip breakfast at a time. Studies show that people who consistently skip breakfast have 35% weaker leg strength compared to those who eat protein-rich breakfasts. They're 2.3 times more likely to experience falls. They have significantly higher rates of mobility, disability within 5 years. But here's what terrifies me most. This muscle loss is invisible until it's almost too late. You don't see it happening because it's gradual, a little weaker each month, a little more unsteady each quarter. Until one day, you can't get off the toilet without help, or you fall reaching for something on a shelf, or your children start having the conversation about assisted living. But wait, if you need to eat breakfast, surely any food will do, right? Absolutely not. What you choose to eat next could be an even more devastating mistake. Warning number 2, eating inflammatory breakfast foods. White bread, high sugar. You think white toast or sweet cereal is a light, easy breakfast. It's quick, it's convenient, and it seems harmless. After all, bread is just bread, right? Cereal is fortified with vitamins. The box says heart healthy and whole grain goodness. How bad could it be? These foods contain high amounts of sugar and refined carbohydrates that trigger a blood sugar spike, followed by chronic inflammation. Let me break down exactly what happens inside your body when you eat that innocent-looking piece of white toast. Within 15 minutes of eating refined carbohydrates, your blood glucose skyrockets from around 80-90 mmol to over 140 mmol. This rapid spike triggers your pancreas to release a flood of insulin, the hormone that shuttles glucose out of your bloodstream and into cells. But here's the problem. This dramatic blood sugar roller coaster triggers something far more sinister: systemic inflammation. When blood sugar spikes rapidly, it causes oxidative stress in your blood vessels. This oxidative stress activates your immune system, which releases inflammatory molecules called cytokines. The main culprits are IL-6, interleukin-6, and TNF-alpha tumor necrosis factor. These inflammatory cytokines circulate throughout your bloodstream, creating what scientists call chronic low-grade inflammation, or inflammaging, the combination of inflammation and aging. Now here's where it gets personal to your legs. These inflammatory molecules specifically target your skeletal muscle tissue. They interfere with a critical process called muscle protein synthesis, the way your body builds and repairs muscle. Think of inflammation as static interference on a radio signal. Your brain is trying to send build and repair signals to your leg muscles, but the inflammatory noise scrambles the message, but the damage goes deeper. Chronic inflammation also disrupts something called the mTOR pathway, the master regulator of muscle growth. When inflammation is present, this pathway gets blocked, essentially putting a closed sign on your muscle repair shop. Even more devastating, inflammation reduces blood flow to your muscles. Your blood vessels constrict, and the tiny capillaries that deliver oxygen and nutrients to your leg muscles become less efficient. It's like trying to water a garden with a kinked hose. The water nutrients can't get through properly. The white bread and sugary cereal also lack any significant protein. So not only are you creating an inflammatory environment, you're also failing to provide the amino acids your muscles desperately need to repair themselves after the overnight catabolic state. It's a double assault on your leg muscles. And here's something most people don't know. Refined carbohydrates also spike a hormone called myostatin. This hormone is literally called the muscle growth inhibitor. High myostatin levels actively prevent muscle growth and accelerate muscle breakdown. You're essentially sending a biochemical signal to your body that says, destroy leg muscle, don't build it. Chronic inflammation is the silent culprit preventing blood circulation and nutrients from reaching and repairing your leg muscles. This is the root cause of your frequent nighttime leg cramps, those sudden, excruciating spasms that jolt you awake at 2 a.m. Your calf muscle contracted into a painful knot, feeling like someone is twisting your leg with pliers. These cramps happen because inflammation depletes your muscles of critical electrolytes, magnesium, potassium, and calcium. It also makes your nerve endings hypersensitive, causing them to misfire and send inappropriate contraction signals to your muscles. This is also why you experience morning joint stiffness after waking up. You try to swing your legs out of bed, but they feel frozen, rigid, uncooperative. You have to slowly, painfully stretch them out before you can even attempt to stand. Your legs aren't just weak, they're locked up, imprisoned by inflammation. Research shows that people with high inflammatory markers have 43% more frequent leg cramps, 2.1 times higher rates of mobility problems, and significantly lower quality of life scores. The inflammation you're creating every single morning with your breakfast choices is literally freezing and weakening your legs simultaneously. So you need to eat breakfast, and it needs to be the right food. But does timing matter? Absolutely. The third mistake is a seemingly harmless habit that's making your muscle loss even worse. Warning number 3, waiting too long after waking to eat. I'll eat later, or drinking water is enough. Maybe you wake up and don't feel hungry. Maybe you want to shower first, check your phone, do some morning chores. You tell yourself, I'll eat when I get hungry, or I need to wake up first before I can stomach food. The time period from when you wake up to when you eat your first meal is a golden window that determines whether your body recovers or continues to break down. This isn't just about nutrition, it's about biochemical signaling. The moment you wake up, your body releases a hormone called cortisol. This is natural and healthy cortisol is what wakes you up and gets you alert. But here's what most people don't understand. Cortisol is also the primary catabolic hormone. It breaks down tissue, including muscle tissue. Under normal circumstances, eating breakfast shuts off this catabolic cortisol signal and activates the anabolic muscle-building pathways. But every minute you delay eating, cortisol levels remain elevated, continuing to cannibalize your muscle tissue. Research has identified a critical threshold 60 minutes after waking. If you wait longer than 60 minutes to eat your first meal, you extend the catabolic state and transform muscle loss from a temporary overnight process into an insidious, continuous destruction. Let me explain the science. During sleep, your body enters what's called a fed-fast state. Growth hormone increases, helping preserve muscle. But upon waking, growth hormone drops rapidly, and cortisol rises. This creates a fork in the road. Either you eat and flip the switch to anabolic muscle building, or you don't eat and continue down the catabolic muscle-destroying path. When you eat protein within 30 to 60 minutes of waking, several critical things happen. First, amino acids from the protein enter your bloodstream and trigger insulin release. Insulin is the opposing force to cortisol. It shuts down muscle breakdown and activates muscle synthesis. Second, specific amino acids, especially leucine, directly activate the mTOR pathway I mentioned earlier. This pathway is like the ignition switch for muscle protein synthesis. Without sufficient leucine early in the morning, this switch never gets turned on. Third, eating triggers the release of anabolic hormones like IGF-1, insulin-like growth factor, which promotes muscle growth and repair. But when you wait too long beyond that 60-minute window, several harmful processes accelerate. Your cortisol remains elevated for extended periods, continuing to break down muscle protein. Your body remains in gluconeogenesis mode, continuously converting muscle amino acids into glucose. Your inflammatory markers increase because prolonged fasting without proper refueling creates cellular stress. Your mitochondria, the energy factories in your muscle cells, become dysfunctional. Think of it like this: your body is like a house fire. The overnight fast started a small controlled burn. Eating breakfast quickly is like having firefighters immediately douse the flames, but waiting too long, that's like letting the fire spread from one room to the entire house. By the time you finally eat at 10 a.m. or 11 a.m., massive damage has already been done. The result is that you feel wobbly and lose your balance when taking those first steps of the day. You stand up from bed and your legs feel uncertain, unsteady, like they might give out beneath you. You grab the nightstand or the wall to steady yourself. Each step feels tentative, risky. This dramatically increases your fall risk. Falls are the leading cause of injury and loss of independence among older adults. And the timing is crucial. Most falls happen in the morning, within the first hour of waking, when your muscles are at their weakest after the prolonged overnight fast. Studies show that people who wait more than 90 minutes to eat breakfast have 47% weaker leg strength in the morning compared to those who eat within 30 minutes. They're 2.8 times more likely to experience a morning fall. Their balance scores are significantly worse during the first 2 hours after waking. This wake-up call reveals the urgency. Your morning routine or lack thereof is directly determining whether your legs stay strong or become weak. But here's the good news, this process is completely reversible. Before I share the solutions, let me tell you about David, because his story is probably your story, or will be soon if you don't make changes. David was 69 years old. For decades, he'd been a morning coffee person. Black coffee, nothing else. He wore it like a badge of honor. "I'm not a breakfast person," he'd say proudly. "Coffee is all I need." He didn't notice the changes at first. They were so gradual. A little harder to get up from his favorite recliner, a slight wobble when he first stood up in the morning. Having to use both hands on the armrest to push himself up, he dismissed it all as just getting older. Then came the nighttime leg cramps. Brutal, sudden spasms that would wake him at 2 or 3 a.m. His calf muscle locked in an agonizing contraction. His wife would hear him cry out in pain. He'd have to limp to the bathroom and try to stretch it out, standing there in the dark, tears in his eyes from the pain. Still, he didn't connect the dots. "Just cramps," he told his doctor. "Probably need more water." The wake-up call literally came on a Tuesday morning. David got out of bed like he had thousands of times before, but this time his legs simply gave out. He collapsed to the floor. Thankfully, he didn't hit his head, but he lay there for several minutes, shocked, scared, unable to get back up without his wife's help. At the emergency room, the doctors ran tests. No stroke, no heart attack. But the muscle assessment revealed the harsh truth: David had lost 28% of his leg muscle mass over the previous 5 years. He had severe sarcopenia. The doctor used words like wheelchair risk and loss of independence. David left the hospital with a walker and a prescription for physical therapy, but more importantly, he left with a wake-up call. He finally understood his morning coffee habit wasn't harmless. It was slowly stealing his ability to walk. That's when David found our channel and learned about the golden window and the insidious muscle destruction happening every morning. He made one simple change. He started eating a proper breakfast within 30 minutes of waking up. His breakfast became non-negotiable. 2 whole eggs scrambled, sometimes with a slice of sweet potato. On other days, Greek yogurt with chia seeds. He made sure every single breakfast contained at least 25 to 30 grams of protein. The changes didn't happen overnight, but they happened. Week 1, the nighttime leg cramps decreased in frequency. Instead of 4 to 5 times per week, they dropped to once or twice. Week 3, David noticed he could stand up from his chair more easily. He didn't need to grip the armrest quite as hard. The wobbliness in those first morning steps reduced noticeably. Week 6, his physical therapist measured his leg strength. He'd gained back 15% of his quad strength. She was shocked. "Whatever you're doing," she said, "keep doing it." Week 8, David walked into his doctor's office without the walker, just a cane. The doctor reviewed his muscle assessment, 35% improvement in leg strength. The blood test showed something else too. His inflammatory markers, CRP levels, had dropped by half. Month 4, David was walking around his neighborhood. Short walks at first, just to the corner and back, but walks nonetheless. The independence he thought he'd lost forever was returning. Month 6, David went to his grandson's baseball game. He walked from the parking lot to the bleachers. He climbed up 3 rows of steps. He sat through 7 innings. And when his grandson hit a home run, David stood up without using his hands and cheered. Today, 14 months after that terrifying fall, David is 70 years old. He walks 30 minutes every morning. He plays with his grandchildren. He travels. He lives independently, but he never ever skips breakfast, and he never drinks coffee without eating food first. "I thought breakfast didn't matter," David told me recently. I thought it was just one meal. I didn't understand I was literally destroying my own legs every single morning. That one change, eating the right breakfast at the right time, gave me back my life. David's story isn't unique. It's the story of thousands of people who made this simple change. And it can be your story too. The question is, will you wait until after a fall, or will you take action now, while you still can? You don't need medications. You don't need grueling workouts at the gym. Everything starts with eating the right breakfast. Science has proven that these opposing foods can help you reclaim up to 35% of your leg strength in just 8 weeks. Let me share the specific foods that can reverse this muscle loss, and more importantly, exactly how they work inside your body. Solution number 1, whole eggs. Whole eggs are arguably nature's most perfect muscle-building food, specifically designed to create new life, which requires building tissue from scratch. Each whole egg contains approximately 6-7 grams of complete protein, meaning it has all 9 essential amino acids your body cannot produce on its own. But the magic ingredient is leucine, about 0.5 grams per egg. Leucine is the ignition key for muscle protein synthesis. It directly activates the mTOR pathway we discussed earlier. Think of leucine as the foreman on a construction site. Without him, the workers' other amino acids just stand around. With him, they start building. To reach the leucine threshold, the amount needed to fully activate muscle building, you need about 2.53 grams. That's why I recommend eating 2 to 3 whole eggs at breakfast, not just one. But here's what most people miss. The egg yolk is not your enemy. The yolk contains vitamin B12, which is critical for nerve health. Your leg muscles can only contract when nerves send proper signals from your brain. B12 protects the myelin sheath, the insulation around your nerve fibers. Without adequate B12, nerve signals get disrupted, causing that wobbling and instability you feel. The yolk also contains choline, which supports the production of acetylcholine, the neurotransmitter that tells your muscles to contract. Better communication between your brain and legs means better balance, coordination, and strength. Regular egg consumption increases leg strength and reduces wobbling. Studies show that people who eat 2 to 3 eggs at breakfast have significantly better balance scores and 23% fewer falls compared to those who skip eggs. Eat 2 to 3 whole eggs, including the yolk, within 30 to 60 minutes after waking. Scrambled, boiled, poached, the cooking method doesn't matter. What matters is consistency and timing. Solution number 2, Greek yogurt unsweetened. Greek yogurt is the secret weapon against overnight muscle loss because of its unique protein composition. Greek yogurt contains 15 to 20 grams of protein per cup, with about 80% being casein protein. Casein is fundamentally different from the protein in eggs or meat. It's a slow-digesting protein that forms a gel in your stomach, releasing amino acids gradually over 6-8 hours. Why does this matter? Because that slow, steady release of amino acids creates an anti-catabolic environment. Remember, your body goes into muscle breakdown mode during the overnight fast. When you eat casein at breakfast, it continues releasing amino acids throughout the morning, essentially putting a stop signal on muscle breakdown for hours. Greek yogurt also has high leucine content, about 2.5 grams per cup, which activates immediate muscle protein synthesis. So you get both immediate muscle building from leucine and prolonged muscle protection from casein. It's a 1-2 punch against sarcopenia. Additionally, Greek yogurt contains probiotics, beneficial bacteria that reduce gut inflammation. Since chronic inflammation is one of the primary drivers of muscle loss, reducing gut inflammation has systemic effects on muscle health. Greek yogurt stops the catabolic muscle breakdown process that continues through the night and repairs damaged leg muscles. Research shows that people who consume casein protein at breakfast maintain significantly more muscle mass over time compared to those who don't. The probiotic content also improves nutrient absorption, meaning your body can better utilize all the other nutrients you're consuming. Choose plain, unsweetened Greek yogurt. The flavored versions are loaded with sugar that triggers inflammation. Aim for 1 cup, 200-250 within 30 minutes of waking. You can add chia seeds, berries, or a small amount of honey for flavor without spiking blood sugar dramatically. Solution number 3, Oatmeal topped with chia seeds. This combination is specifically targeted at preventing those horrible nighttime leg cramps while providing steady energy. Oatmeal provides complex carbohydrates that digest slowly, preventing the blood sugar spikes and crashes that trigger inflammation. The slow-release energy also replenishes muscle glycogen, the stored form of glucose in your muscles, which was depleted overnight. But the real magic comes from chia seeds. Just 2 tablespoons of chia seeds contain 95 milligrams of magnesium, about 25% of your daily needs, 115 milligrams of potassium, 18% of your daily calcium needs. These 3 minerals are the electrolyte trinity for muscle function. Magnesium regulates muscle contraction and relaxation. Potassium maintains proper fluid balance in muscle cells. Calcium triggers the actual muscle contraction process. When you're deficient in these minerals, which most older adults are, your muscle cells become hyperexcitable. They contract inappropriately, causing those agonizing nighttime cramps. The inflammation from poor breakfast choices depletes these minerals even further. Chia seeds also contain omega-3 fatty acids, ALA, which have anti-inflammatory properties. While not as potent as the omega-3s in fish, they still help reduce the chronic inflammation that prevents muscle repair. The fiber in both oatmeal and chia seeds also feeds your gut bacteria, promoting a healthy microbiome. A healthy gut means less systemic inflammation, which means better muscle health. This combination is extremely effective at preventing nighttime leg cramps and maintaining healthy muscle contractions. Studies show up to 60% reduction in cramp frequency within 3 to 4 weeks of consistent consumption. Half a cup of dry oatmeal cooked with water or milk, topped with 2 tablespoons of chia seeds. Add a scoop of protein powder whey or plant-based to boost the protein content to 25-30 grams. Eat within 30 to 60 minutes of waking. Solution number 4, wild-caught salmon or fatty fish. While not traditionally a breakfast food in many cultures, fatty fish like salmon is increasingly recognized as one of the most powerful muscle-protecting foods. Salmon provides 2 critical benefits. First, it's an excellent protein source with about 20-25 grams per 100 grams serving, including high leucine content for muscle protein synthesis. Second, and more importantly, salmon contains omega-3 fatty acids, EPA and DHA, which are the most potent natural anti-inflammatory compounds available. These omega-3s directly counter the inflammatory cytokines IL-6 and TNF-alpha that attack your muscles. EPA and DHA work by being incorporated into your cell membranes, making them more fluid and less prone to inflammatory signaling. They also convert into compounds called resolvins and protectins, which actively resolve inflammation rather than just blocking it. Research shows that omega-3 supplementation increases muscle protein synthesis rates by up to 30% in older adults, specifically by improving the muscle's sensitivity to amino acids. Reduced inflammation, improved muscle protein synthesis, better nerve function. Omega-3s also support myelin health and enhance blood flow to muscles. 100-150 of wild-caught salmon, mackerel, or sardines 3 to 4 times per week for breakfast. Yes, it takes getting used to having fish for breakfast, but cultures around the world, Japan, Scandinavia, have done this for centuries with excellent health outcomes. Alternatively, take a high-quality fish oil supplement, 2 to 3g EPA plus DHA daily with your breakfast. Solution number 5, banana. Bananas are often underestimated but provide rapid electrolyte replenishment. One medium banana contains about 450 milligrams of potassium, which is critical for muscle function. Potassium works opposite to sodium. While sodium triggers muscle contraction, potassium allows muscle relaxation. Without adequate potassium, your muscles can't properly relax after contracting, leading to cramps and spasms. Bananas also contain vitamin B6, which helps your body use the protein you're eating. B6 is a cofactor in amino acid metabolism, meaning it helps convert the protein from your eggs or yogurt into usable muscle tissue. The natural sugars in bananas provide quick energy without the massive blood sugar spike of refined carbohydrates, and the fiber content slows absorption. rapid cramp relief, improved muscle relaxation, better protein utilization, and quick energy for morning activities. One medium banana with your protein-rich breakfast, not as a replacement. The combination of banana for electrolytes and quick energy plus protein eggs, yogurt creates the ideal muscle-building, cramp-preventing breakfast. The secret weapon: steamed sweet potatoes with Celtic sea salt. This is the breakfast food that nobody talks about, but that produces dramatic results. I call it the secret weapon because it addresses muscle loss from an angle most people never consider: trace mineral deficiency. Sweet potatoes provide complex carbohydrates that don't spike blood sugar. Unlike white potatoes or bread, sweet potatoes have a lower glycemic index and contain fiber that slows digestion. This provides steady energy for muscle glycogen replenishment without triggering inflammation. But here's where it gets interesting: Celtic sea salt. This isn't regular table salt. Celtic sea salt is unrefined and contains over 80 trace minerals: magnesium, potassium, calcium, zinc, iron, manganese, copper, and dozens more. These trace minerals are critical for muscle function at the cellular level. They act as cofactors for thousands of enzymatic reactions. Without adequate trace minerals, your muscles cannot properly contract, relax, or repair themselves, no matter how much protein you eat. Modern agricultural practices have depleted our soil of these minerals, meaning even healthy foods contain fewer minerals than they did 50 years ago. This widespread mineral deficiency is a hidden driver of sarcopenia that rarely gets discussed. When you combine sweet potatoes for stable energy and glycogen with Celtic sea salt for comprehensive mineral replenishment, you create an environment where muscles can function optimally. The minerals in Celtic sea salt also help regulate something called osmotic pressure, the fluid balance in your muscle cells. Proper fluid balance is essential for muscle contraction and for preventing cramps. Glycogen restoration, stable blood pressure in muscle fluid, comprehensive trace mineral replenishment, and dramatic reduction in fall risk. Studies examining trace mineral supplementation in older adults show up to 48% reduction in fall risk over 6 months. One medium sweet potato, about 150-200 grams, steamed or baked, sprinkled with a half teaspoon of Celtic sea salt. Eat this 3 or 4 times per week for breakfast, combined with a protein source like eggs. The combination of protein plus complex carbs plus trace minerals is extraordinarily powerful for muscle preservation. Beyond nutrition, there are 5 simple morning habits that amplify your breakfast's muscle-building effects. Habit number 1, drink mineral water upon waking. Before you even think about breakfast, drink 300-500 mmol of mineral water. During sleep, you lose about 400,600 milliliters of water through breathing and sweating. This dehydration makes your blood thicker, reducing nutrient delivery to muscles. But don't just drink regular water. Choose mineral water or add a pinch of Celtic sea salt to your water. This provides immediate electrolyte replenishment, particularly sodium and magnesium, which your muscles need for proper function. The hydration also helps to reduce the morning cortisol spike we discussed. Dehydration amplifies cortisol release, making the catabolic state worse. By hydrating immediately upon waking, you dampen this cortisol response. Drink the water before coffee if you still drink it, and at least 10-15 minutes before breakfast to allow absorption. Habit number 2, 3-minute balance exercise. After drinking your water but before eating breakfast, perform simple balance exercises for just 3 minutes. This isn't about building strength, it's about nerve-muscle communication. Stand near a wall or counter for safety. Practice single leg stands 30 seconds each leg. Repeat 2-3 times heel-to-toe walking, 10 steps forward, 10 steps back. Gentle calf raises 15 to 20 repetitions. These exercises activate your proprioceptive system, the unconscious awareness of body position in space. This system deteriorates with age and muscle loss, contributing to falls and wobbling. By activating this system every morning before eating, you're essentially waking up the neural pathways between your brain and legs. When you then eat your protein-rich breakfast, Those activated pathways can better utilize the nutrients for repair and strengthening. Research shows that combining morning balance exercises with proper nutrition produces synergistic effects results greater than either intervention alone. People who do both have 2.5 times better improvement in balance and strength compared to those who only change their diet. Think of it as priming the pump. You're preparing your neuromuscular system to optimally use the breakfast you're about to eat. Habit number 3, don't wake up too early. While morning routines are important, waking up too early before your body has completed its natural sleep cycles can sabotage your muscle health. Growth hormone, which helps preserve muscle mass, is released in pulses during deep sleep, particularly in the last few hours before waking. If you force yourself to wake at 5 a.m. when your body wants to wake at 7 a.m., you're cutting short these critical growth hormone pulses. Additionally, insufficient sleep increases cortisol and inflammatory markers while decreasing insulin sensitivity. This creates a perfect storm for muscle loss. Aim for 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep, and try to wake up naturally when possible rather than to an alarm. Your muscles recover and rebuild during sleep. Shortchanging sleep means shortchanging muscle preservation. Habit number 4, morning sunlight exposure. Get 10-15 minutes of morning sunlight on your skin within 30 minutes of waking, preferably while eating breakfast. Sunlight triggers vitamin D production, which is critical for muscle function. Vitamin D receptors exist throughout muscle tissue, and vitamin D deficiency is strongly associated with muscle weakness, particularly in the legs. Sunlight also regulates your circadian rhythm, improving sleep quality, which improves muscle recovery, and optimizing the timing of anabolic and catabolic hormones throughout the day. If direct sunlight isn't possible, consider a vitamin D3 supplement 2,000 to 4,000 IU daily. Habit number 5, delaying exercise until after breakfast. Many people exercise first thing in the morning on an empty stomach, thinking it burns more fat. But for older adults concerned about muscle loss, this is counterproductive. Fasted morning exercise amplifies the catabolic state, breaking down even more muscle for energy. Instead, eat your breakfast first, wait 30-45 minutes for initial digestion, then exercise. This approach provides your muscles with available amino acids during exercise, preventing muscle breakdown and supporting muscle protein synthesis. Studies show that people who eat protein before morning exercise maintain significantly more muscle mass than those who exercise fasted. Your workout doesn't need to be intense. A 20-30 minute walk after breakfast is perfect for improving circulation and nutrient delivery to leg muscles. The fact that you're still watching this video proves something important: you care about living smart, not giving up. You're not someone who passively accepts decline. You're someone who takes action when you learn the truth. And the truth is this: your leg strength, your balance, your independence, none of these are predetermined by your age. They're determined by your choices, specifically by what you choose to do in that critical window between waking up and starting your day. David's story could be your story. Those simple changes, eating the right breakfast at the right time, gave him back his life. They can give you back yours too. I want to know, if you could only choose one breakfast food to protect your legs starting tomorrow morning, which would you choose? Comment below, Mom. 1 for whole eggs, 2 for Greek yogurt, 3 for oatmeal with chia seeds, 4 for sweet potato with Celtic salt. 5, if you're already doing this and want to share your results, your comment helps build our community and helps others see what's working for real people like you. If you found this wake-up call valuable, hit the like button. Share this video with someone you love who's experiencing leg weakness, balance problems, or those terrifying nighttime cramps. This information could literally prevent a fall that changes someone's life forever. Subscribe to HT Senior Health 365 and hit the notification bell right now, because in the next video, I'm going to expose 3 breakfast foods you think are healthy but are actually silent culprits causing your leg cramps and heaviness. Foods that are probably in your kitchen right now. Foods that doctors often recommend, but that are secretly destroying your muscle mass. Don't miss it. Your independence depends on information like this. Keep your legs safe. because you are still experiencing life to the fullest as long as you are able to walk with strength. Never forget that your independence is carried by your legs. Every step you take is a victory. Every morning you wake up and make the right choice is a deposit in your independence bank account. You're not powerless against aging. You're not destined for a wheelchair. You're reading this, learning this, taking action, and that changes everything. The harsh truth was that your morning habits were destroying your legs. But the empowering truth is that starting tomorrow morning, or just starting with your very next breakfast, you can begin the reversal process. Your legs have carried you through every important moment of your life. They carried you down the aisle at your wedding. They carried you as you held your children for the first time. They carried you through your career, your travels, your adventures. Don't they deserve your protection now? Make that one simple change. Eat the right breakfast within 60 minutes of waking up. Choose protein and minerals over coffee and sugar. Choose strength over convenience. Your future self, the one still walking confidently at 75, 80, 85, will thank you for the decision you make tomorrow morning. Important, this information is for educational and reference purposes only. It is not intended as medical advice or as a substitute for professional healthcare guidance. Always consult with your physician, registered dietitian, or qualified healthcare provider before making any changes to your diet, exercise routine, or medical decisions. This is especially important if you have existing health conditions, take medications, or have specific dietary restrictions. Individual results may vary. The testimonials and examples shared represent individual experiences and are not guarantees of results for others. Your personal health outcomes depend on numerous factors, including your current health status, genetics, lifestyle, and adherence to recommendations. If you experience severe leg pain, sudden weakness, or balance problems, seek immediate medical attention, as these could indicate serious medical conditions requiring professional evaluation.